Good morning, everybody, and happy Monday. So today we're going to go over how to tell a story through presenting your plan. That is one of the most important things. My personal number one most important thing, fact finding. Number two, presenting the plan. So you gather up this information, but how do you actually use it? So let's start out, really good quote here. There is no sale without the story, no knockout without the setup. And that's from the author of Jab, 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 Right Hook. So happy Motivation Monday, everybody. We talked about how to do solid introduction and how to do fact finding. Why do these matter? Because first off, with the solid introduction, it's why do they even care about you? And then the second part is, what are you going to do for them? So we talked about why you're calling, so the introduction, the with them, your process you're going to do. We talked about telling the client what the process is throughout the whole section. The best salespeople are those that can go through and explain what they're going to do and the why, because then the client's not going to sit there and going, what are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? Why are they doing this? Good salespeople explain it up front, and so they can jump into their whole process. The next step, fact finding, we talked about that is 70% of the call. The introduction's 10, the presentation 10, and the close 10. You have your 5 main things you need to know. And I'm going to tell you about the 7 things your client actually cares about in the presentation. So first off, what's their insurance situation now? Previously insured. The big thing is, why do they actually care about you? Why are they calling? Consumption, how are they going to use the plan? Obviously the budget, we care about money. And in the end, the start date. The start date's the easiest one. Why is that one of the last ones we talk about? Because that's something that they know solid. We start with something they know solid. We talk about how they're going to use it and end with something solid. So when they finish that conversation, they're going to feel very confident with you. So now you have the client's attention. You know what they need, you have pulled your products up, because if you are new to the industry, one of the things you want to do is after fact finding, yeah, you may have to hang up the call and do some research. If you're like us, you've been doing this for quite some time, got it. I'm actually doing quote research as I'm doing fact finding. That is something that you can do. Now, keep in mind, your presentation, you could just ramble through the benefits all you want. And I love hearing people do that, talking about their deductibles, their co-insurances, going into the exact co-pays, maybe talking about a few exclusions here or there. That's really fun. You can just hang up the phone though if that's what you're doing. Why? Because you're not being effective. People want to hear a story. So to do a solid plan presentation, there's a few things that you need. First off, you need to have at least 2 things where you can tell a story. And second off, you need to be able to ask questions where they are going to answer short-ended with yes. Keep in mind, first off, your client will not buy what they don't understand. And what I mean by understand is they won't buy what doesn't fix the problem they care about. That's your plan presentation. A good benefit explanation will hopefully reduce the number of angry calls you get and save your E&O, right? That's a good one because, hey, how does this actually work? They're not going to go to a doctor for something that doesn't work. And a great plan explanation increases retention because it's a known fact that clients keep what they understand. I've worked very close with retention departments in the past, and they say the number one reason clients call to cancel is they don't understand the benefits. And it's usually specific benefits, like they don't understand how their $50 first dollar benefit works versus a $50 copay. Keep in mind, we're not going to spend 50% of our call doing this. This is only 10%. You got to do a good job with 10%. Let's jump into it. So plan presentation. So what you're going to do is you're going to do a recommendation. We're going to go through benefit usage. We're going to hit the supplements. We're going to confirm the benefits and then give the price. This is kind of working different than what you might be used to. The reason why we keep price at the end is because I don't care how much the plan costs, because if it doesn't fix what their needs are, price is irrelevant. Keep in mind, you can give them literally the best insurance package in the world, but it is going to cost an arm and a leg. You need to create the best package for what their needs are. And that's why I wait till price to the end. I want to confirm that the benefits match. Do they understand the plan? Do the benefits match before I actually give a price? Because again, if you throw out the price, it might just be a waste of time. Recommendation. Here you need to start by asserting yourself that you are a professional and that they should listen. You can use a lot of different things, the plan, the package. What I'm going to recommend for you is, that is all of a sudden saying, hey, guess what? I'm a professional. I have done this for a while. This is what's going on. Keep in mind, John, as we're going through this, anything that you like or anything that you hear, we can completely customize for you. And we can talk about that and make any changes as needed, but as long as you like what you hear, we're going to go through and get you applied for that today. So the package I'm going to recommend for you is, and then you just jump right into it. What I do, literally have them grab a pen and paper, because you're going to want them to write down a few pieces of information, usually who the carrier is and what the price is, have them put it on the fridge. So when they get angry and they call you back saying, I didn't know I was going to have 4 drafts out of my account. Yeah, you did. It's on your fridge. You can start with that from the beginning, have them grab a pen and paper. If they want to write anything down, absolutely they can. This is a setup phrase, so keep that in mind. We want to go through as we are reading it. You can see how these benefits are going to work for you. Yes, you can see how with this plan, this would only cost you $250 versus the $7,000 this would cost you last year, right? Yes. The 7 benefits you need to make sure to tell your client, the things that they actually care about. And keep in mind, on 2 of these, you need to tell a story. Here's the 7 you need to tell your client. They care about how are they going to go to a doctor? How are their prescriptions going to work? What happens if my plan doesn't have prescription benefits? That's okay, you can tell them that. We can always add on prescription benefits if they need it. Hospitalization, what their network is. Why do they care about network? Well, it gives them access to doctors and hospitals, and it also helps negotiate down their medical bills. Labs, emergencies, and then what their maximum benefits are. Yes, price is going to be in there. Price is not one of the 8s for benefits. So with the benefits, these are the 7 that you need to tell your client about every time to increase your retention. First off, you can go through, you're going to explain how the doctor office works. If you stay in network, what will happen is you go to the doctor, hand them your prescription card. They take that prescription card, they're going to give you a form to sign. You sign the benefits saying, hey, guess what? They're going to do the work for you. Go to the doctor. Afterwards, you're going to get something called an EOB. It's going to say how much that you owe, and that's going to go towards your plan. If we've already gone through and hit your first area that you paid out, they're going to do what's called a cost share. Some people like to use an insurance term called co-insurance. You may have heard that in the past. And then we can start splitting the bills for you. Most important thing is make sure to stay in that network. It's going to help keep your bills down. Tell a story. Don't go through and say your doctor visits are going to be deductible and co-insurance. Your prescriptions aren't covered. Hospitalization, deductible and co-insurance. Your labs, depending on how they work, deductible co-insurance. Emergencies, deductible co-insurance. Your max benefits are $7,350. That sounds like just garbage. I want to go through and tell a story. Your job in fact finding was to find 2 pain points where you can go through and tell a story to them. So use large examples. For short-term medicals, let's start with this. John, remember when you told me you went skiing a few years ago, you ran into the tree and you broke your clavicle and you said that was just a horrible, horrible experience and it cost you guys a ton of money? Well, let's say you did that again, and just for the sake of math, let's say that cost $100,000. Why did I pick $100,000? Kind of a shock factor, honestly. People go, whoa, $100,000, that's like half the cost of my house. It's a reality out there. Bills can get that high. They're going to stop. It's a shock factor and actually listen to you. This is how the plan is going to work. You said, here's something about you. You need to tell them a story about themselves because that actually perks people's ears. They're not going to care about you when you went through and you had a golf cart accident and flipped over on the golf course and broke your leg. No one cares. They want to hear about themselves. Tell them a story. So John, when you did this, this is how the plan is going to work for you. That's actually one of the biggest things. Tell them the story back. Use that large example, kind of scare them. That's how you're going to talk about what their max out of pocket is. You can cover that. You can cover the network on that one as well. You can cover emergencies too. Bam, you actually got 3 of those 7 points done in 1 paragraph. Make it relatable. Always make it relatable by saying, earlier you told me. So you're pain in the house a few years ago. You fell and had to spend 4 days in the hospital. Let's say that happened again and this bill was $100,000. Here's how it's going to work. So first off, first part about the plan that you're going to pay out is going to be about $2,000 before we start splitting the bills for anything. After that, we're going to split it 80% for the insurance company, 20% to you, until you've paid a total of $5,000. So write this down with me. So you pay the first $2,000, then we split the bills 80-20 up to $5,000, so about $3,000 there. So that $100,000 accident, you'd pay only $5,000 and the insurance company is going to pick up $95,000. How does that sound? Great. Now for doctor's office visits. Good, they had to write it down. They went through how an emergency is going to work. Instead, they're not going to say $100,000 and say it's only going to cost me $5,000. Yeah, at that point, I read a comment on here. Shouldn't I be tying in my supplements? Absolutely. So John, with this plan, nice thing is there's a rider that we put on here that's going to take that $5,000 bill, anything to do with an accident, that $5,000, and reduce it to $250. So instead of $100,000, it's only going to cost you $250. The insurance company is going to pick up $99,750. How does that sound? Sounds great. For fixed benefits, you are going to be doing it a little different. Use realistic examples. So short terms, major meds, use the $100,000 because they have that stop. They have that, hey, after that, it's going to pay out at 100%. Use realistic examples for these. So again, what's going to be important to them? Telling the stories and make it relatable, like one of those earlier you told me, right? So if you go into the doctor for something like, let's just say a cold and flu, here's how the policy is going to work. You go through, hand them your insurance card. Again, that's going to be called assigning the benefits. So they're going to go through, hand you a piece of paper, you sign it, smiles and all great. After that, what's going to happen is you're going to get an EOB in the mail. So it's going to be those little letters, kind of like what you saw before. And you're going to notice that $70 was taken off that visit. Also, there's going to be a reduced rate if you stay within the multi-plan network used here on this policy. Stay within network, you're going to save a percentage on that, and then the plan's going to give you $70. So let's say the average cost of your doctor there's $100. They give you 70. You're only going to be responsible for 30 instead of 100. How does that sound? Sounds great. Perfect. Again, earlier you told me you're going to relate it back. The biggest thing that I'm trying to get through here is make sure to tell a story. I hear a lot of people saying, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm really good. I can just go through spit benefits. You can. You absolutely can. Your retention's probably not that great. I've worked with a guy a few weeks ago. He's been in the industry for over 10 years. He's like, my retention's just been tanking. You're right, because people are getting educated, right? They can go through, they can look up the benefits online. They can actually buy almost everything you're selling online. A lot of these insurance companies have made it useful. Why do they go through you? Because A, you're going to help them if they have any issues when it comes to claims. And B, you're going to be able to tell them a story, make them let it know how it works. Now, we said another step in your plan presentation is to tie in the ancillaries and supplements. So again, in the $100,000 example, anything to deal with accidents, you can just say, hey, it's going to be reduced at $250. Now, if you get diagnosed with something horrible like cancer, heart attack, or stroke, and I know we've all been affected by somebody who knows that, the nice thing is that this policy is actually going to send you a $50,000 check if anything like that happens. So you can let them know about the critical illness policy that's on there. Again, why should they have it? Tell the story. If you're going to add the critical illness, see if they've had anything like that in the past in the family or friends that they know of. Most people have and are very scared about it because it costs a lot of money. Just be clear on what they do. Keep in mind here with supplements too, you don't have to go into every carrier exactly what the name of the carrier is in the plan presentation. Yes, we're going to be transparent. Yes, we're going to let our clients know, but let them know at the end. When we're going through and say, okay, write this down, here's how it's going to be drafted out of your bank account. So this first one's going to be from NHIC, the second one's going to be from CBL, and just list them as you go. That's okay. People say, I'm really afraid of quoting from 4 different companies because my clients are going to cancel. That's an objection from 10 years ago. People are used to different draws now. As you go through the ancillaries, it's fine. What we do when we go through the price and we have them write it down, that's when they're going to figure out that these are all from different carriers. And you want that because if something bad happens to one of the carriers and they exit the marketplace, that'll be okay. Your client will at least have those other 3 to confirm. So you go through, you tell the story, you hit those 7 points, you go through, you tie in your supplements. And then at the end, you need to get a yes to benefits. Say, okay, John, so we went through, we have this policy. Now, do these benefits sound like they are going to work for you and your family? Use that phrase. Do these benefits sound like they're going to work for you or you and your family, depending on who you're talking to? And then be quiet. If they say, oh, those sound okay. No, okay is not kind of what I'm looking for, John. I need to make sure that these are going to be the right benefits for you. Because again, if I need to make changes, this is the step where I go and I do that. Don't move on without getting a yes to the benefits. That's okay. That is going to be your green light that everything is 100% good to go. If they stutter here at all or stall, that means there's something that you missed. That's fine. You'd be shocked a lot of times what you miss when you sit there and you go through and you kept it within their budget and they're saying, yeah, but I didn't have any dental or just something really dumb like that. Like what happens if I get diagnosed with cancer? That's when you can go back through. You can add those if you need to. That's fine, but don't move on here unless you get a yes to benefits. Once you get a yes at benefits, that's actually your green light that they go through and that's technically your close. So you can kind of walk through, give them the price, but don't worry. Here's one of the things. Great news is you kept this well within your budget. It's under $500. This is what's going to happen. Bam, here's how all the drafts are going to work. And then the very last part is ask a demographic question. So ask a demographic question. Why would you ask a demographic question? Because you've already asked for the close, you got their business, you wrote down how it's going to do, and you actually need to just move into the application. Great, and what's your middle initial? How do I properly spell? What's your address again? I know we went through this once, I just have to double check all my work. And you just move right into the application process. Trust me, if at any time they're not comfortable, they will throw up the red flag with that. It's called an assumptive sales process. You are assuming through the whole time that you are going to make the sale. Just closes at a higher rate, works better in our industry. So this is the third step, the plan presentation on that. And let's end with a really good one here. So every sales call, from a cold call until a closing call, should follow a pre-planned structure that is meant to optimize the likelihood of a desired result. People say they don't need a script. You're absolutely right, but you need a roadmap. Roadmap's going to help increase your close rate. It's just going to help you know through and stick on what you need to do. Everybody, have a great week.